Hello, everybody. How are we all? Welcome. Today we will be talking about the meaning behind channels, the word channels and channeling, and how it relates to both, as we know, media. And as we also know, what's the other thing I'm looking for the media and also for spirituality. So, welcome. And I have the wonderful George coming shortly. So I'm just going to join him with them. Hello, everybody. I hope you're all well. It's good to see you all. And give me I should be having George on any moment now. Ta-da!
Hello.
Hello, gorgeous. Do you come here often?
Now and again, really. Maybe every week.
Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for asking me to be a part of this. I'm looking forward to diving into this.
Yeah. So, from what you already know, George, like with regards to what we was talking about with media and just the word channeling and programming, as we already know, like what's your kind of concept on the whole thing? Because I just want to like get a rough concept, an idea, and then I've just been doing some research, so I want to explain the actual definitions to people. So yeah, shoot.
I would say channeling in terms of the media. Obviously, we have TV channels, so you tune in.
Yeah.
And you're basically being told a narrative that they want you to believe into, basically. I also think it goes into, obviously, spell casting, like we spoke about before, and how the media is literally putting a spell on everyone. And in a sense, the same way a spiritual person would channel psychic messages, the media are channeling into you specific messages and outcomes that they want you to believe in. Best example is the news. If you think for 1 second that the news is a good indicator of exactly every single thing that's happening in the world, then you are obviously living in fantasy land, because they're basically telling you exactly what they want you to hear. And we all know that the news is always putting out negative information.
100%.
I would like to hear what you've found out and what your research has come to.
Well, as we already know, I'm very heavily, George, into spell casting,
Exactly.
and the fact of the meanings of words. And because I've had such a fascination for language since I was a child, now coming on my part of this journey, learning more and more about the power and the meaning of words and how they are said and what is being said is becoming more and more apparent. It's so obvious. So I thought, you know what, why don't I just look at the current definitions of certain words and how they're broken down, okay? So this is quite interesting. So of course, let's start with the actual vessel, like one of the most used vessels for channeling, and that's the television itself, yeah? Otherwise, I break that down to the tells lie vision, but I also call it a teleportation of lies through vision. Yeah, that's my personal definition that I've come. The word tele itself means combining form, meaning reaching over a distance or carried out between two remote parts. Hence, telephone, television, telecommunications, telegraph pole. Okay, so let's then go into, we have the television and it has channels. Those channels are feeding you different forms of information and entertainment. The word channel, a tubular passage or a conduit. A conduit means something to pass through. A course or a pathway through which information is transmitted. In communications theory, a gesture, an action, a sound, written or spoken word, a visual image in transmitting information. Seems fair enough, yeah? In brackets it says, the TV, as we know, are using multiple channels, in my opinion, to keep everyone, and it says here, in a trance-like state. Okay? Also with the word, when I was looking for telly, I noticed there was this word under it, and it was telecast. Fancy that. I know, right? So here, I thought, let me look into the word cast. And cast, C-A-S-T, means to warp, twist, to become warped, to receive in a shape or a mold, to calculate astrologically, to calculate, to compute, stroke of fortune or fate, or a distortion of shape. Okay, so now stay with me, folks. So we already know about spell casting, the meaning of words. The word itself, spelling, is literally you're conjuring up a spell with your words. We already now know tele is a portal. The channels are also tubular portals of information. So now we're going to go on to the word entertainment. When it's broken up, entertain means to hold one's attention. Also in a trance-like or hypnotic state. And then entertain, and then you've got ment. Ment is literally derived or comes from the word mental. So when you put the word entertainment together, you've got to hold someone's mental state in a trance-like or hypnotic state. I know, right?
I mean,
so
yeah.
Then I thought, I know about channeling because I myself am a channeler.
Exactly.
And it says the art or the act and practice of serving as a medium through which a spirit guide can communicate with a living person. Okay. But then it says to enter a trance-like state to convey messages from guides or visions. So this is how we are, the media, literally they use these words. You have a television, it has many channels. The channels have programs. The program is like, you know, when you go on a course, it is a program.
Yeah.
You are training your mind. You are holding your mind. In this case, though, notice what's on the telly. Not much of it is actually any good. The majority of it is what?
Fear-mongering and crap.
And entertainment.
Entertainment, yeah.
So, yeah, I thought that was quite interesting, George. What do you think about that one on my little research discovery?
Really interesting because, I mean, I don't think a lot of us really know the actual specific meanings of these words. And we might think as well, oh, you know, they're just words. They don't mean anything. They don't hold any real resonance with actual our day-to-day lives. And I mean, that couldn't be further from the truth now, could it? Um, you explaining literally the breaking down all of those words and giving each part of it its accurate meaning just shows you how they're literally using all of these words as a spell over everyone.
Correct.
And
100% correct.
it's the case of actually understanding that these words do mean something, and it's not just all random. These aren't random words. These aren't a series of random events, are they? As we know, no.
There are no coincidences, as you and I know, George, you know. And those people that don't know, like, their media got channeling from our natural state of being. We all have the capacity to channel. When we are not, our instinct is a channel, for instance, you know, because that's a receiver in when something might not be right, or something's good, or something's bad. Also, like, that's our automatic receiver, say, for instance. For me, I get my own voice in thoughts and all sorts that have been happening through what I now know to be my theta brainwave.
Yeah.
And as Emma rightly says, the television puts you into an alpha state. But we can do another talk about the different brainwaves another day. But yeah, it just goes to show that they took what was originally our purpose here. We was meant to be receiving messages without all these distractions, to be able to evolve here and help each other and do what we were meant to do whilst we're here. However, they then used all of that, the channeling of the spiritual, to then create this world, which is our so-called dense, materialistic 3D world, to then be able to channel and distract. Not only do they distract and hold people's states, but then they also tap into their other senses, like the pleasure senses. Entertainment is a form of pleasure sense, isn't it? And the majority of people are working hard, and they are like, they might hate their job, they might not be happy with their life, etc., etc. So the teleportal is almost like, oh, I get to go into this world of loveliness and niceness, but that's very clever, because that then leaves people distracted whilst they're carrying on with their agendas in the background. Like, for instance, going to other countries and declaring wars. So
yeah, like you said, you know, like declaring wars and doing what they want to do without disclosing what, you know, what the true purpose is, making it, oh, that country is a threat. No, that country wasn't a threat. They just want something specific from there, that we could get into, but maybe just not yet. What it is that they're trying to get when they do these wars. But no, you're 100% right about everything that you've just said. And it really is a case of people having to actually see through this, because it's difficult. I understand it's difficult for people when they wake up in the morning, they go to work, they're spending like anywhere between 8 to 10 hours, I'd say on average, in a job, possibly in an office, just sat on their desk all day, typing away, whatnot, talking to people they don't even want to be talking to, and speaking to people who are angry on the phone and all of that. And then they come home, cook a quick meal, sit down, and then they're literally zoning in and switching off from everything, so they can have those few minutes or those couple of hours of pure entertainment and escapism, and that's that. It's Groundhog Day every day, isn't it? In that lifestyle, as we know.
And this is how the routine and the program, until we ourselves allow ourselves space to think out of it.
Exactly.
And the same way that we grow our routines through our family when we are raised is the same way they then get us into this full sense of identity through the media, of the routine of doing exactly that, coming straight back in and going into the escapism, feel good, distraction, hold trance-like state entertainment. So yeah, I thought it was quite an interesting find to then realize that channeling itself as we have, and then the actual meanings of it within media, it's completely apparent that it's been taken specifically from spirituality.
And of course it would. Everything that they do, they're flipping it, aren't they? They take something good and then they flip it on its head and use it to their advantage.
100%. And I think what people need to start realizing though is when they do start coming out of, like you said, this coma and this trance-like state, that they don't be so harsh on themselves.
Yeah.
Because you know that you said like we shouldn't be so harsh on them, which is 100%. But I think what often happens is people will come out of it and they'll be like, because we've been taught to be in victim mode for so long, which is a 3D trait, the first thing we'll do is normally we come back to ourselves and say, how did I let myself do this? How did I let them do this to me? You know? Because I know that is what's going to happen. A lot of people are going to blame themselves for not seeing what then becomes the obvious, because then when you do wake from this deep slumber, the signs are everywhere. And it's just like, why did I not see this before?
And you can't blame yourself at the end of the day. You can't, you can't beat yourself up over something you didn't know. That's ridiculous when you think about it. You don't tell a child off for not knowing the same things that an adult knows, do you?
100%. No, we don't. And what people need to realize is like, we were born into this. It's no one's fault.
Yeah.
Like our parents didn't know better. Their parents didn't know better. Everybody was just trying to do their best in what they thought was the real world, hence materialism, capitalism, all that jazz. But it's no one's fault. It's not your fault, not their fault. It is those that created said medium channels, you know. And by medium, I don't mean a person, I mean media. Okay. Yeah. But yeah. Has anyone got any questions? That's an interesting one. If anyone's got any questions, please put them down. But yeah, for me, this is pretty much a very short and sweet one almost. Because
I can feel that. You've just kind of summed up everything that I know you wanted to talk about.
Exactly.
Maybe let's just have a quick recap on that.
Mm-hmm. So as we've learned today, folks, a television is obviously a form or method reaching over a distance via the vision. Telecast, the word cast itself, as in spell casting, comes to warp or to twist, or to receive or shape or mold, to calculate or compute. A channel, a tubular passage, a conduit, a course or pathway through which information is transmitted, but then used multiple channels to keep everyone in a trance-like state. Then you've got the word channeling itself, the practice or art of serving as a medium through which a spirit guide communicates with a living person. and then also to enter a trance-like state to convey messages from a spiritual guide. So we've got the telly, we've got the portal, we've got the casting to warp, to put into a state, and we have the channels, which is literally every time. That's why do you think there's so many channels, folks? You've got Freeview, you've got Sky, you've got this, you've got that, you've got Netflix. They're all channels to feed different types to keep you continuously distracted in this state of mind.
Literally,
it's just
really
some thinking for you folks.
They're doing all that. They're doing what they need to do behind the scenes. They're putting out all this entertainment and channeling, and basically, like, while they get on with what they're doing, they're saying to us, "Look over there, look over there," and
then bringing something else out new, making you think, "Oh, this is something new," but it's just another tool of distraction. And this links in, if nobody's seen it, on George's earlier live that we just did, to false idols, because certain celebrities that are part of the false idol culture, they are entertainment. And as we now know, the word entertainment means entertain, to hold one's attention. Ment is mentality. So it's to hold one's attention through the mind. That is the entertainment industry.
Literally. And yeah, if you want to find out more about that, head over to my channel. I've got 2 videos on that, both with Jenny about false idol worship, part 1 and part 2. And we'll be talking more about this month. And this video here right now that you're watching is a great tie-in to all of that as well. And please keep watching Jenny's videos that she does, both on her stories, her impromptu videos that she puts out there, because it's really good information. And as Emma said as well here, how can you wake them up from the dream? By doing just that. Keep speaking.
How do we wake them up for the dream? Exactly. Like, we wake people up to wake people. Do you know what? I often feel like we're all on our own journey. So is it our job to actually wake them up, or are we interrupting their journey by trying to wake someone up? I think sometimes a part of our life path is to go through the journey, but the thing is, the conditioning now has kind of almost wanted to make everyone have a cheat code. Like, there's a cheat code to evolving.
There really isn't.
There isn't, folks. Like, we all have to do it. And for some, it's going to be a spiritual awakening, which is going to be a big old shock. And other people, it will just be general, and then eventually you'll have like all of this knowledge. So yeah, I think that's it for me today. I'd like to thank George, who's amazing, and his channel is talking all about false idols, which is absolutely fantastic. We'll be going even deeper as the month goes on continuously, and he's also a great inspiration when it comes to anything creative, folks, because as we know, if you start tapping into your creative side, you end up finding your purpose, and then you'll end up doing what you love and getting paid for it. So there's nothing wrong with that. Sorry, honey.
And it's fun as well.
It's so much fun. So yeah, I think that's it for me today. I don't need to do anything long. I think it's short and sweet, and that's what it is. And I hope you've got something from this information. Feel free to share this as well, just because, we're all out here sowing seeds. That's what I would do, Emma. If I was going to try waking people up, I would sow seeds, because sometimes if you try to force too much on people, again, many people are programmed and in cognitive dissonance mode, so their automatic thing will just be to, I'm not watching that, I'm not listening to that, don't want anything to do with that. Oh, you know what I mean, folks? So,
no, all that crap.
What's that, honey?
They'll be like, oh, it's a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, so if anybody wants to go, and there's a very good source, it's on brand new tube, and it's called Out of Shadows. For anyone who wants to learn about the history of conspiracy theories, wants to learn more about the entertainment industry, and also that wants to know just generally about a little bit about Hollywood itself, I would say, because that links in also with George's False Idols. Out of Shadows on brand new tube. Anyway, that's it for me tonight, darling. Do you know what? I realised I didn't do the cards on your one, and do you know what? I don't feel to do the cards today because I kind of feel like today should just be like it's information day, you know?
I think that's perfectly fine. I realised you weren't going to do a card reading in my one, and I don't think you need to. But really good comment from DJ just now. He's just asked, for the next live, I would like to know how do you get away from people who do not care of seeing the organic information?
Why can you see all these and I can't see any of these? This is interesting.
All right.
It says, what does it say?
For the next live, I would like to know how do you get away from people who do not care of seeing the organic information, which obviously he means the truth.
So basically those that are in cognitive dissonance, or those, you know, how do you get away from them?
That is interesting, because I don't think you can really get away from...
It depends. Are you living with these people? Like, I'd need to know information, like, because more and more people are, just due to what's happening with the planets at the moment anyway, they are starting to become more aware because the planets are jolting everybody out of their slumber. Yeah, but how we can ourselves take ourselves away, there's stuff that we can do energetically when we're around these people, and I can't remember, but check out my videos. There is something that I did where you can actually do a technique and block energy of those people coming into you. So I don't know if that's going to be of any help and use, but I'd need to know more information first, DJ. I think you said that was that person's name.
Yeah. I don't know if you can see comment he's put, as in people we call friends, and I do live with one. So maybe it's a good idea for him to check out that video on your page.
Yeah, so just go and have a little look at my videos, and I can't remember what it's called. It was most probably, yes, you need to block the energy. Yeah. It's most probably I've got a series titled called, I think it's under body work, and I'll be doing some more energetic work, in fact, in the next coming weeks, along with breath work. Along with maybe some stretches, along with meditation as well. George and I are going to do a meditation this week as well for anybody that wants to come join us, on Wednesday the 20th specifically.
Shall we briefly touch on that very quickly? So,
you know what? I'll leave it in your hands.
All right then. So yeah, we're going to be doing a live meditation on the 20th of January. If you're living under a rock, which I don't think you are, you probably know what's going on that day in a certain very, very big country right now with a lot of controversy and drama going on. So something big is happening on that day. It is going to be again, a celebrity-packed event. Speaking of celebrities in the entertainment media, please check out my videos on false idol worship on my page. Rewatch this video if you need to, and then go off and do your own research. Don't just take my word for it. Don't just take Jenny's word for it. Cross-reference this stuff. And if you find out for yourself it's all bullshit, good for you. I'm happy that you think it's bullshit, because you should live in your truth. But if it does resonate with you and you find out...
I'm not to be sarcastic there, George.
Yeah, that's an aspect of me. But anyway. Thanks for pointing that out.
I love it. I love it. No, what George is saying is 100% true. Check out George's page, False Idols. If you want more information looking into that as well, check out that film I told you on brand YouTube, which is great, Out of Shadows. If you then, your mind gets blown and you're like, what the hell is going on now? Contact George, Gabriella Starseed _. And also myself, you can DM us, that's fine. Anybody who wants to know more about 3D world, 4D world, 5D world, what they are, what the emotions and what we should be living in our truth, check out a video called Dimensions and Ascension Symptoms, because you might have been having those. Like DJ said, it's starting to work through himself, so that might also be of use to you, DJ. And yeah, like George just said, cross-reference everything. Don't be afraid to look at anything. And literally, that information that I gave to you, I just put in the search engine, like I would have done when I was younger, and looked at the dictionary and just been like, what's the meaning of this word? So, yeah. A lot more fun to come, a lot more learning to come, a lot more discovery to come. Like for George and I, we've been on this process for quite a few years, like decades now. But well, I have anyway. So yeah, it's just time to get this information. And I don't think it should just be the general narrative that's out there, because that's not fair. We should all be able to have an equal say, and every opinion should be out there, and people should be able to then sit with it, rest with it, with the information. If it resonates, take what you need, and as they like to say in tarot card readings, leave the rest.
And yeah,
I couldn't help myself because I just realised that's what it sounded like. Anyway, folks, George, I love you, I love you, I love you. Thank you so much for coming on with me.
Thank you for having me.
I hope, folks, that you've learnt something today. Feel free, like I said, there's a wealth of information in here. If people are like, what, when it comes to the television, just show them this. It breaks down all the terms, what it means. And if they still don't believe it, then boy, that's their journey. You have to leave them to it. If anyone wants more information in regards to learning how to shut themselves down energetically, that's one of my specialities, and I also do energy cleansings as well. So and also energy cleansing tips, so that I can work together with you and you know how to remove that energy from you. Yeah. So sending so much love to you all. George, have you got anything else? Are you good?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me on. Thank you to everyone who's watching. And I can't
wait. Thank you so much.
Next Friday. And as we said, we're going to do a live meditation on Wednesday the 20th at 8 p.m. UK time,
8 p.m.
10 p.m. European time, and
3 p.m. US time.
That's it, 3 p.m. US time. On a very special day, 20th of January. Yeah. You should know what's going on that day, and if you don't know what's going on that day... But
they might not, because not everybody's got calendar information.
No, what I mean is obviously what's going on in terms of on the news. We know what's going on, but on the flip side...
Yeah, I know, but I'm talking about... still with the calendar. The calendar that we have, and the calendar everybody else has got is 2 different calendars, George. But if anybody wants the calendar, contact Gabriella Starseed _ or myself, and we'll be able to bring you into our fold. And yeah, you don't have to be alone, folks. You're not alone. Even if you are dealing and living with people who are not, we can no and yes, DJ, kind of ish. But you're on the right track, 100%. But yeah, we can, start our own soul family between us, So yeah, sending so much love and so much light. I love you, I love you, I love you all. Have a great weekend. Good night.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.